What a headshot! What a head!
How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. In this video, I'll be taking you through the ultimate guide to the upcoming Game Week 16. So finally, the congested fixture period has kind of taken a break and we now have our usual schedule of a week before each deadline. So I decided the perfect time to catch us back up to these ultimate guides, as we haven't done one in a few game weeks now. So in this video, the usual stats review as well as the projected goals, projected clean sheets, finally going over the Captaincy debate, which this week is quite closely contested. So if that's something you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So a refresher of the stats is going to be on the cards. As mentioned, we haven't done one of these ultimate guides in quite a few game weeks now. So I'll be going over the entire season as a whole, as well as the last 6 games for those inform numbers. So as usual, let's go over the attacking numbers before we go over the defensive numbers. And just a reminder, this is XG non-penalty, as penalties aren't that consistent. So on the left hand side, over the entire season, as expected, Liverpool and Man City at the top there with 2.12. They follow closely by Chelsea at 2.11, and then we have Spurs, Bournemouth, and finally Arsenal. So I've given Bournemouth enough praise. Their start to the season has been pretty sensational, and seeing them top 6 of the entire season just makes me feel better about owning Semenyo. On the right hand side, we have an increase from some of these squads over the last 6 games, and very important, that's why I mentioned XG on penalty, as Chelsea are number 1 without even penalties. So 2.15, a growth over the last 6 games, but they've had some easier fixtures. So should we be looking to target the best attack in Game Week 16 for our captaincy? Don't worry though, Liverpool close there at 2.44, Bournemouth the only separation at 2nd. We then have Man City, Spurs, and finally Crystal Palace. So could Eze be back on the menu? Lots of these teams though pretty kind of expected, the majority of them being in the top 6 currently, but those info numbers maybe make me think about Eze again. What I will add here is over the last 6 games you might have noticed Arsenal are not going to be here, and one of the things that they've done is exchange a lot of their open play XG for set piece XG. Now both sides of those XG coin will be in this stat, just something that I've noticed though in terms of their overall numbers. Now let's go over the worst teams in terms of XG. Now we go over these numbers to maybe target these defensively, or maybe to avoid these attacks. Now for the entire season, unfortunately, those newly promoted squads Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton have been struggling, along with Wolves, Everton and Nottingham Forest. Like the best numbers, these numbers also pretty expected, and over the last 6 games nothing much has kind of changed here. We have seen a drop off though from Ipswich as well as Leicester, so both those teams have improved from an attacking point of view. Fulham quite a surprising team there for me, but I guess they have had some tougher games. They do face Liverpool next week though, which is quite a tough defensive fixture. One team to also note is going to be Manchester United, having got off to the best start to the season, and under the new manager have also continued to kind of struggle. I would probably avoid their attack and their defense for the current moment, but their fixtures also look pretty tough. The final team, West Ham, not what you want to see last night. West Ham vs Wolves, that game was pretty bad to begin with, but at least in the second half it livened up a bit. Can't say I've been looking at too many of these attackers from the right hand side, although I do own Cunha from Wolves and they haven't been great. So once again, target these teams defensively. If you have defenders facing them, the clean sheet should be pretty locked. Otherwise, maybe avoid them for those attacking transfers. Now the defensive numbers have started to normalize a little bit. We can see Arsenal at the top there over the entire season with 0.41. So it's nice to see a historically good defense back in the top 3, as we have had some surprises with Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Aston Villa. Liverpool also creeping their way into the top 6, just above United, so even though the attack might not be going great, at least the defense of United is going well. On the right hand side, we can see that boost to Arsenal comes from the last 6 game weeks. 0.57 is mighty impressive. Everton have also improved their numbers recently, so if you guys are looking at a Saka captain, probably the only reason why I might not go for him. Otherwise, Crystal Palace have improved defensively and from an attacking point of view. Might be time to jump back on their bandwagon. Also want to shout out Wolves at the bottom there, even though they've been shipping a ton of goals, at least their expected clean sheets have been getting better. Hopefully Nori does well this week defensively, as I have to play him. Pretty good fixture against Ipswich though. Now my favorite numbers to go over in terms of these team numbers is the XG conceded. The reason for this is that you guys should be targeting these teams from an attacking point of view, which is a little bit more exciting. So over the entire season in terms of XG conceded per 90 minutes, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester are at the bottom, followed by West Ham, Brentford and finally Wolves. Most of these teams will make a lot of sense. I mean, I've seen them ship a ton of goals, and in Game Week 16 a lot of my teams are actually facing them, so hoping for some big scores. On the right hand side, we're going to see the introduction of Man City, at the moment one of the worst defences. Could United actually improve their XG in this fixture? We also have Spurs and Chelsea featuring here, but they have had some tougher games recently, and that's why that game was an absolute goal fest in Game Week 15. Leicester have also escaped the informed numbers from a defensively and an attacking point of view, so the new manager might have made a quick improvement. Southampton, unfortunately though, definitely the team to target if you guys are looking for a fixture. Otherwise, follow Man City closely if you guys own a Bruno Fernandes. Once again, these teams should be targeted from an attacking point of view, especially for your Captaincy considerations. But now let's go over my favorite part of these ultimate guides, and that's the expected clean sheets as well as the projected goals. So let's bring up every fixture on screen, and as you guys can see, we've got that FPL color coding. The highest team at the moment with 54%, and that's Arsenal. We then have a drop off to Liverpool as well as Newcastle on 42%, before Chelsea and Man City round up our top 5. Then teams to definitely avoid from a defensive point of view: Fulham, Leicester, Brentford, Southampton and finally United, all very low expected clean sheet chances. Then like always, we have those kind of tougher fixtures. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa might be quite low scoring, where Southampton Spurs might actually have a few goals in it. I would definitely use these numbers if you guys are kind of suffering from some rotation or some benching headaches. And this is super useful for me who's looking to make a defensive transfer. Jumping from a good defense to another good defense, if they have better odds, this might be the week to do it. For example, I have Guardiola at the moment. Even though 32% is quite high, might jump on Trent with an extra 10% plus more attacking threat. Just something in my mind when I was looking over these numbers, you guys can do it as well. Can see Arsenal defenders being quite popular for Game Week 16. I also want to shout out Wolves because they have a chance of 31%, and with some better defensive numbers, can Aït-Nouri actually keep a clean sheet this game week? But you guys can pause the screen if you want to. Let's go over the projected goals now though, and this is quite interesting with a lot of high scoring fixtures. So you know it's going to be a high scoring affair when a great team has 2.1 with Bournemouth, but the top 5 this week just have such high projections. So number 1 team is going to be Chelsea with 2.75, and they're followed by Liverpool on 2.6. So it just so happens that Salah vs Palmer is my captaincy decision, and it seems like the projected goals are backing that debate. Now between Salah and Palmer, I'd probably give it to Salah as he's a higher goal share, but Palmer has the high projections in terms of the team. We then have Arsenal as well as Newcastle on that 2.5 mark before rounding off with Man City and Spurs. This week could be an absolute blockbuster. Then spoke about those more boring games. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa might be slightly. I was hoping that Wolves do well and finally Cunha returns again. Teams to avoid: Everton, as mentioned, very low chance of actually scoring, as well as Fulham, Leicester, Brentford, United and finally Crystal Palace. The debate though for Captaincy just got that much tougher as these are super high projections, and as mentioned, Mo Salah has a higher goal share than someone like a Cole Palmer. It is very close though between those two. I was hoping there's not too much of a point swing, but the way this Premier League season has gone, one is definitely blanking and one's getting a 20-pointer. Arsenal's projections are also pretty high though, so if you guys do want to go for Saka, he's a viable option. And as a Jackson owner, I'm not liking the look of those Newcastle and Isaac numbers. All I know this week though is it's going to have a ton of goals in it, as most high prolific teams have good matchups. Comment down below which fixture you guys think will have the most goals in it. Can be from only one of the respective teams. Now the final debate to go over is going to be the Captaincy debate. We always end the ultimate guides with the Captaincy debate, and this week it's pretty close. So my two favorite options at the moment are Salah as well as Palmer, but if you guys do own Erling Haaland, he could be an option. United's defensive numbers haven't been great. I can see Man City scoring, just the form in his ownership has put people off. So if you guys want to go for differential captain, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Erling Haaland is very differential, and he has the 3rd highest predicted points for Game Week 16. At the moment though, Salah is leading the metrics with 8.2, followed closely though by Palmer on 7.7. Both very strong fixtures and both will be rested. Obviously Salah didn't play in Game Week 15 with that postponement. Liverpool are playing in the Champions League tonight though, and I'm recording this before that. But as mentioned, both players should be rested as Palmer doesn't play in the Conference League. I think currently at the moment I'm going to be on Palmer because I own Nicholas Jackson, So kind of putting all my eggs in one basket and hoping Chelsea absolutely score many goals. I do back Salah though, and as a Liverpool fan, this is going to be a tough watch, but Fulham have impressed me defensively throughout the season. This is the Liverpool attack though, don't think any defense is going to be great against them. Just such a close debate between them. So comment down below who's your captain for the upcoming Game Week 16. Are you Team Salah, Team Palmer, maybe even Team Haaland? Shout out to Saka, always a great option. Everton have looked better though. Just so many options to be honest this game week. But really interested to see how the split is going to be. Think Salah will be the safe option, but Palmer could be slightly more exciting with Chelsea scoring so many goals. If you guys have any other debates, comment them down below on my Discord server, slightly more active there, link in the description. Stay tuned for the team selection coming up probably on Thursday, as I am looking to use all 3 of my free transfers. This is basically a wrap for the video guys, hope you guys did enjoy it. If you haven't liked, didn't subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Content's still to come, team selection as well as the deadline stream, so make sure those notifications are turned on. But for the time being, I'm signing off, it's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out, cheers, bye.